No question he can put some rock and sock into a baseball. I'm just saying, if you can get a rocky catcher, if Dom Nunez was to have a good spring, and I'm not forecasting he's going to, I'm only saying keep your eye on him. Because if Dom Nunez can get at bats regularly in Colorado, opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. I also read a story on Trevor Story, and I think this is critical. We know Story has home run potential. Not only home run potential, but home run dominance, right? He's the first shortstop in Major League history. Remember this. This would be a good trivia question, Lenny. He's the first shortstop in Major League history to hit 20 or more homers in his first 4 seasons in the major leagues. And Story this weekend, I read a story on MLB.com that he's trying to steal more bases and improve his success rate in 2020 over 2019. Now, with a shortstop who can hit potentially 40 home runs, and if he's going to steal more bases, reading this story jacked Trevor Story up on my draft board a few notches. He's got the best ballpark in the world. He's got all kinds of potential. He only had 1 bad year out of 4. So now I feel like he's got a pedigree, and saying he wants to steal more bases and improve his percentage as well. Stolen bases are like the cherry on the sundae with Trevor Story. So I'm looking forward to watching Story this spring, and let's see how that goes. San Diego acquisition Jurickson Profar. Now, Profar, he's been one of the more disappointing players last year to me in fantasy. Picked up by San Diego in the offseason. He went 2 for 3 yesterday with a 2-run homer. The Padres beat the Giants 7-5 yesterday. Profar, 27 years old. Massive disappointment last year in Oakland. Looking to improve his stock, hitting that towering 2-run shot to left field. It was his first homer of the spring. It was off a lefty, Giants lefty Jerry Blevins in the 4th inning. But he is expected to open the year as the Padres' everyday second baseman, and he has the potential to hit 20 home runs or more. Now, he's not in a great park. Confidence is everything. And a good spring out of Profar could mean a good season out of Profar. So I want to keep my eyes on Profar. I'm not touting him right now. I'm just saying the Profar alert is on. Now it's time to move to the American League. Yes! Finally, I get to talk about my beloved Yankees a little bit. And there's a lot to talk about here, guys. First of all, let's talk about the bad. Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge and his sore shoulder. Still not ready to hit outside. In fact, he's not hit outside since last year. How about that? Aaron Boone indicated that he should be cleared to hit outside this coming week. So I want to keep my eye on Judge. When he starts to hit, then he can get back on the field. Now, the Yankees are going to be taking it easy with Judge, and that means that a player like Mike Tauchman or even Miguel Andujar would see more playing time in the outfield. But it looks like we're going to see more of Aaron Judge than less coming up in coming days. And so Yankee fans, like me, let's keep our eye on Judge. Now, Friday, he did report discomfort near his pec. He went and had tests done. They all came back negative. But again, optimistic for opening day. Optimistic that this week he might can get outside and start hitting again. We'll keep our eye on that. Now let's talk about some good things. The Yankees have already suffered 2 significant pitching injuries. We know about that. Luis Severino, out for the year. Paxton, Big Maple, out till sometime, probably May. I did read over the weekend that he is now thinking about starting a throwing program this week, which is encouraging. But even more encouraging than that is not what we think, but what we see. And what we saw out of Yankee pitcher Jordan Montgomery Saturday against the Red Sox was nothing short of impressive. He threw 2 innings against the Sox. He allowed just 1 hit, and he struck out 4 batters. Montgomery has gotten his fastball velocity up to 95 miles per hour already this spring. That's significant, guys, because his maximum velocity in 2018 was just under 93. He's a favorite to claim the back of the rotation starting spot to begin camp. And with that uptick in velocity, over 2 miles per hour, he should improve on his 19.8% strikeout rate that he established in 2018. Remember, injured last year, didn't pitch. Keep your eye on his velocity. Keep your eye on his opportunities. He's on my draft board, Jordan Montgomery. He should be, he better be, on yours. Gleyber Torres, Yankees shortstop Gleyber Torres, hit his first homer on Saturday of the spring. Now, last year, his second year in the major leagues, a .278 average. He should be an elite fantasy shortstop. I said earlier, shortstop is a deep position. His numbers, he improved on his plate approach last year. He held his chase rate in check, 35.1%, increasing his contact rate from 68 to 76. That adjustment pushed his strikeout rate down nearly 4 points to 21%. Torres improved plate discipline, should also increase this year his OPS, which last year was around 900. He's an early round pick. He's shortstop, second base eligible. And the Yankees are nothing short of thrilled with Gleyber Torres, and, well, so am I. And then finally, Yankee-wise, I could talk forever about the Yankees. I won't do you that way, okay? Adam Ottavino pitched Saturday. I'd say Ottavino, probably a little bit of a disappointment last year. I mean, not quite the dominant force he was in Colorado the year before. He did have a 2.19. A 2.19 ERA over the last 2 seasons. He has allowed 12.8% walk rate. He's trying to tweak his delivery this spring. A lot of them do that. Ottavino will be a horse in the bullpen. If you are in a league where holds are counted as stats, Ottavino has got to be on your board as a potential pickup this season. The word out of Red Sox camp is that Andrew Benintendi has a sore quad. It's quad tightness. He won't be in the lineup for the next couple of days. Suffered some kind of injury Thursday, and Ron Renicky is hopeful that he can return to the Red Sox lineup as early as tomorrow. So it's not a serious concern for the 25-year-old outfielder. He's gotten off to a pretty good start this spring. 3 runs scored, 3 hits, 1 home run, stolen base, a walk, a .375 average. He needs a bounce-back season after last year, a disappointment with a .266 average and only 13 home runs. And how many of you have got Benintendi as a player to keep your eye on this spring? Certainly for me, he is, because he's at that crossroads. Does he improve on last year's disappointing year, or does last year become the norm for Benintendi? And if last year becomes the norm, he's certainly not the fantasy player that he was in 2018 any longer. So hopefully the injury will be short-term. Hopefully he's back in the lineup for the Red Sox and you Red Sox fans, Andre Lamont, and he can improve on last season. Now, Eduardo Rodriguez, last week I told you he hung his spikes on the mound and suffered some kind of minor knee injury. Nothing major. They just wanted to let him rest a little bit. So he had to skip his start. Well, he finally had his first start of the spring Saturday, and he pitched 3 scoreless innings. He allowed 2 hits, and he struck out 6 batters in those 3 innings of work. So fantasy owners, breathe a sigh of relief. The 26-year-old is expected to get the opening day start for the Red Sox this year. I think he's a must-own starter. He had 19 wins last year. I think he's only going to get better going into 2020. He's certainly on my board to draft, and the only question is he in which tier? I've got him in my tier 3 right now. Could he be a tier 2? Could he be in the conversation with, say, a Walker Buehler? I don't think he is right now, but he could be. It's a lot of Eduardo Rodriguez's problems have been health. His knee balks at him at times, which I think puts him into the category 3. And then he can be erratic at times. He can walk the house, so to speak. But it looks like from last year he made significant strides to improve those numbers. From last year, the injury bug, not as much. I'm sure over the offseason he's been working out, strengthening that knee and his legs. And I look for him to have a big season this year for the Red Sox. I want to move into the Blue Jay discussion. A lot of discussion here, if you will. Nate Pearson. How many of you guys already have a man crush or woman crush on Nate Pearson? It was his second spring outing yesterday. His first spring outing was 1 inning against the Yankees a week ago. Yesterday, he pitched 2 perfect innings, all against projected Pirate starters. He hit 100 miles per hour with his fastball several times. I watched the game on TV. Okay? And he made short work. Look, he struck out a pair in 2 innings and only threw 20 pitches. How's that for efficiency? Now, it's not likely. In fact, I'll go ahead and say, he will not be pitching at the Rogers Center in Toronto, Canada in April, not early April. But he will make his presence known in the major league sometime this season. I really like Pearson. In fact, Pearson is my number 1 rookie pitcher on my boards this year. It's just a matter of when does Toronto make the call and say, get here from Syracuse, New York? I don't know. A lot of it might depend on where are the Toronto Blue Jays in the standings? How much of a competitor are they in the American League East? Now, certainly a few years ago, remember 2 years ago, we kept looking for Vladdy Guerrero. We kept looking for Vladdy Guerrero. And Vladdy Guerrero never came in 2018. Never came. I picked him off waivers a few times thinking, man, he's hitting 450 at AAA, whatever it was. Toronto did not call him up. Now, he played all last year, but they got that extra year of service time. And don't be surprised if they try to string Pearson along as well. I know pitchers are different, and I know Pearson is pushing the issue. Here's my thinking. If Toronto breaks camp, and in March and April they're playing pretty good baseball, it almost begs the question, when are you going to get him here? He can help the big league squad. And if they are competitive early, I look for Pearson early. Great start to the spring. Now, not so much for Chase Anderson. He failed to get through the first inning against the Pirates on Sunday. He gave up 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning. He gave up 3 hits, 3 walks, and he threw just 16 of his 31 pitches for strikes. The Blue Jays, of course, got him from the Brewers. He's 32 years old. They want him to eat up innings. That's something they did not have in Toronto last year. A pitcher at the back end of the rotation that ate up innings. Now, Anderson made 25 starts in 5 straight seasons, but he doesn't really have a lot of fantasy value. He has a 3.94 career ERA, a 1.26 whips, and he doesn't strike out a lot of batters. I think we avoid Chase Anderson as much as we can. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't draft him, because pitching, again, like I said, it's thin. It's really thin this year. What's not thin is that bat of Vladdy Guerrero. He slugged his first home run in the loss to Pittsburgh on Sunday.